important conventions. That's a huge development. That should not be underestimated. And luckily for us, those frameworks are universalized because that was the spirit of the times. So luckily for us, many of the frameworks, like the frameworks on hunger, frameworks on food sovereignty that come later through struggle. Food sovereignty framework doesn't come from the 1%. Food sovereignty framework comes from La Via Campesina, fighting for decades and then pushing forward a framework. Those frameworks are important. We have to take them extremely seriously. The idea that people should be food sovereign. In other words, food should not be something that's grown for export. Food should first take care of the needs of people before they are treated fully as a commodity. So is there a way to think about decommodifying food production? Is there a way of thinking about food production systems that are not entirely about profit making? That was the food sovereignty convention that's there and accepted. We have to use these things. These are very important platforms. That's why it's not just greed. The system is in problem. But the system, thank God, has given us its own contradiction. Because the system wants itself to look good. So the system gives itself principles and ideals. So the system says, actually we stand for equality. Actually we believe in everybody should be full. They should not suffer from starvation. That was the victory of the French Revolution. Our system now cannot afford to say, let them eat cake. It has to speak in these banal generalities about equality. We have to use that. You cannot vacate that, cannot be cynical about that. It's by pushing the principles in the face of an unequal system that you move history forward. Even if the 1% frame a charter, and the charter is useful, use it. Yeah.
You mentioned the momentum of this movement, which is really important. And you don't want to just fritter around the edges, as you said. But you would want some demands that could start to change the system that would be systemic. And I'm just thinking an end to the war in Afghanistan and the end of the tax cuts for the rich would be possibly achievable, would maintain momentum, and wouldn't be any final victory at all, but at least it would be something that the population would make a difference for the population and would be a partial goal down the road. I'm just trying to think of big demands, and obviously people in the movement have to work these out. But, while the momentum is there, you have to try to take advantage of it.
I agree with you. Tax cuts, that's a big issue. That's why I brought this. Tax cuts for the top 1% cost the US Treasury $7.7 million per hour.
Okay.
So every hour, 1 second went by. $2,129 per second. Tax cut to the 1% per year. That's what it costs the US Treasury. Huh?
It's not going to change. You try and, you go to Congress. Congress gets money from all these people.
Yes, sir.
And Congress is bought out. So
forget. See, the issue is, the interesting thing is, these demands are important because these demands build momentum in society. I'm not interested in, right now, on my knees pleading with Congress to repeal the tax cuts. Because I well recognize that Congress is bought and paid by people who actually don't work in these buildings, but fly from helicopters, I think. They land on top of them. I just watched Margin Call. Did anybody see Margin Call? Anyway, it's a new movie about Wall Street.
All this land was stolen from other people.
Of course.
Okay, we're living. Nobody's complaining about that.
No,
We all
benefit
from the stolen.
Are we complaining about of course this land is stolen from other people, of course we complain about that, but that's a different kind of complaint. That is more like a civilizational complaint.
We renamed Columbus Day.
Most of the people have been killed off. That was how this system was able to provide for itself as it was, but that's slightly different. I mean, it's interesting, I teach in a college, in the college world, and in the college world, in most colleges, there's Latino studies, there's African American studies, Asian studies, but almost no colleges have Native American studies because there's no population to demand it. I mean, I agree, this area is occupied land from another occupation, but that's a shame which is of a different order of magnitude. Tax cuts, the point is that Congress will not, I agree.
You say it's okay for us to not give this back to them.
No, I don't agree. No, you're misunderstanding.
You're saying might makes right.
No, the opposite of that, sir. The opposite of that. If I knew the address of the people who were not massacred, who we could hand this back to them, I would say, sure, I would like that. That's fine.
They're out there.
Well, then that should be something you raise in the assembly.
I mean, Native Americans, boom.
No, good. No, there's no abstract Native Americans. If you raise it there, maybe that will be a good demand. Give the land back to those from whom it was taken.
Maybe we can work out a deal that we can stay here, and we can give a certain amount.
No, maybe. Okay, that's fine. Tax cut issue, I agree with you. Congress may not pass it, but it's a great demand.
Can you let him speak?
Yes.
But that's the kind of mentality.
No, it's okay. You can speak.
No, I mean, you know.
Sorry, let him continue. He's got more to say.
Here's the problem. You got an aircraft, right, which is its own worth. There's no people in an aircraft carrier who are struggling to become billionaires. Everybody's happy. Everybody gets food. Everybody gets medical care. Everybody gets everything they need. So, you take that metaphor and you say, Earth is like a ship. It's like a spaceship, right? It's a ship in space. We don't have a captain. So, and we have a whole, like you said, a whole different way of, whole different set of rules. So, that's why we're not getting what we want. But it's not like people on an aircraft carrier are unhappy. Because they all have a...
The problem is that, you know, you're right. If indeed we lived on an aircraft carrier where there was a commissary and a mess where everybody could go and eat. The tragedy is I've just spent a day at Occupy Hartford where the unemployment rate is 33.5% in the city of Hartford, which is an obscene rate, where actually there are problems, acute problems of starvation. So there is no mess where everybody in Hartford can just go and eat and they are happy. There are acute problems of starvation in the country which we are not addressing. That's why the food sovereignty question is real.
But there's no, in an aircraft carrier, everybody eats, everybody gets medical care. And if you say, well, everybody in the United States should get medical care, why not expand it and say everybody in the world should get medical care?
Of course.
So, yes, you get from there to there.
Oh my God, of course.
You're not changing the metaphor.
Isn't that what we want? Do I just want Americans to get health care? No. I think the whole world is one. I agree with you.
Zero unemployment on an aircraft.
I don't know about this aircraft carrier thing. I like it. But I mean...
How do you like the metaphor of a prison?
Okay, what about like a metaphor of Earth?
What kind of prison do you want? Because
No, why aircraft carrier prison? Why not just the Earth? Let's just talk about the real thing. We don't need a metaphor.
Okay, Earth is our home.
Yes.
Who's in charge of the home? The boys are in charge of the home, and that's why you have trouble. Okay, because boys...
Now why is it home? It was like aircraft carrier, prison, now home.
Women know how to take care of homes better than men.
I like... Okay, now let me go to him, please. Thank you. Yes.
Three points I'd like to make. Last November, I went on something that was quite interesting. Those of you that are able to make it, go to Plymouth Rock. Native Americans have been having a gathering there since 1970, and it was very progressive, very interesting. Plymouth Rock, Plymouth, Massachusetts, they give their side of Thanksgiving. Another 2 points is this, as I said before, I'm a socialist, and there's a point, we have to get a broad organization around against the war, against Afghanistan, against hunger in the country, just broad things like that. I'm in favor of. I've been active for that for decades. But ultimately, there has to be working class solidarity against the capitalist class for a workers' revolution. That's what's needed against capitalism.
Yeah, that I will agree with you. But that, you know, we are right now learning how to walk.
I know.
And even sitting up from a cubicle is difficult.
I've been active in broad demonstrations.
That's why I said it's a long distance runner question. Correct? Are you a long distance runner?
I was a marathon.
No, I mean, now like him, I'm being metaphorical.
Let's have some real victories along the way.
Anything else? We need victories along the way. Done? Anything else?
Would you support a flat tax? Everybody pays the same percentage.
Flat tax is not nonsensical.
So the more I make, the more I should